Episode we discuss three types of competences: behavioral competence, functional competence, and professional competence. In today's episode, we're discussing seven competences in the functional competence category. These are technical skills, technical competence that I think or I believe that an MSD professional should have in order to be considered competent. But before we proceed, it's important to make the statement that the knowledge of an approach like market systems development does not make you an expert. Being an expert requires the application of the knowledge repeatedly and successfully for you to be considered an MSD professional and a competent MSD professional. So the seven competences that I think is important. The very first is what I alluded to: the ability to convert the principles, the concept, frameworks that are taught in the making market systems of work for the poor approach to real life context. That's a skill that, if done repeatedly and successfully, will lead to a level of competence, and that is one of the primary basic requirement to be a competent market system development professional. The knowledge in itself does not make you a professional. It is the application of that knowledge and repeated application, successful application of the knowledge that makes you a competent market systems development professional. Context analysis, the impact of the place and the people that you're working with, and how you convert that, the concepts and the principles and the tools from the making market systems work approach to the context, to the people and places that you work with, the dynamism and how all of that influences the design for your intervention. That is context analysis that is required of a professional, an MSD professional. And it is only when you are able to do this successfully that you are considered a competent market systems development professional. The next is investment analysis. In market system development, we often work with private sector actors. So it's important for us to appreciate the language, the communication style required to leverage the creativity and the resources that the private sector brings into development. So to do that, you have to be able to do investment analysis and convert this investment analysis into a value proposition that can then be communicated to the private sector actor and your participants. Pitching. You have to have the skill to pitch the value proposition that you've developed from your investment analysis to private sector actor. So you have to develop a pitch deck, a pitch communication tool. You can a video, whatever communication channel you wish to use, but you have to have the ability to convert that value proposition into a collateral that can be used to communicate with the private sector actor or the participants. The fourth is persuasion competence. So you've created a value proposition from investment analysis. You have developed a pitch deck for that, and you have to be able to tailor the pitching to the audience. So if you're talking to a private sector actor, the language, the channels, the style of communication will be different. And if you're talking to participants, or will differ from if you're talking to participants or donors or even your colleague. So it's important to have this competence, the persuasion competence, to move from a value proposition to communicating in the right channel and to make it compelling enough to persuade your audience to either change their behavior or invest more. The next is intellectual flexibility. You have to, some people consider this a behavioral trait. I think it's a core competence that can be developed. You have to get to the point in which you appreciate everybody else's perspective and be able to change your position in light of superior logic and superior evidence. I think that's a vital competence that one must have as an MSc professional. The next is cross-functional competence. Now, cross-functional to me means that you have the appreciation for functions like M&E, gender mainstreaming, environmental technical experts area. You have to have the very basic knowledge of these areas and be able to appreciate when to collaborate with each of these functions to make your intervention a whole lot stronger. In my view, these are the seven competences, core competences that I think an MSD professional must have to be considered competent. Now, I'm sure you have a whole lot more list. Please leave them in the comment section below. And if you disagree with any of the competences that I listed, please let's discuss this in the comment section below, so we can all learn from each other and begin to develop our competence level to design, create, and implement impactful interventions. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.